Hey Dan. So here we go. This is the state of the character creator right now. Obviously the UI and everything is just basic Unity UI elements. You can go back and forth, change various metrics. Here you see the waist size scaling dynamically, depending on, giving the character a belly and so forth. Uh, Lowering the body fat a bit. There we go. And some belly flaps and some breasts, and yeah. We can also set the height, so I could go here and I could go 178, for example, and the height will be 178. And we have a live measurement too, and the reason for that I'll show you in a little bit. So let's make this guy here. I think this is probably fine. Let's change the head shape a little bit. If you see that we increase or decrease the height of the skull, you'll see that the height reflects that as well. So you have a base height setting. It's the same with the waist. You have a base setting that determines the overall shape, or in this case, height of the character. And that just simply scales all the parents and child objects in synchronized. And then you have individual sliders that have the morph targets on them that will make it, so you can make a long neck and that'll extend how tall your character is. But let's make this guy have a regular sized neck. Giving him some wide. Let's give him some fatty tissue around the neck. We can mess with the brow, and as you can see, this is how the clothing will work too. Depending on how I move the actual base mesh of the character, the eyebrows, which are a separate object, as you can see here, the eyebrows move separately along with it, right? So we'll set the height for them. We'll make them a little bit in because Asian guys don't really have such prominent brows. And we can angle it upwards a little bit. With the eyes, we can space them apart, pull them back in, set the height. Asians, again, tend to have low-seated eyes in the socket. We'll increase the depth outwards because they don't really have such deep eyes. Of course, being Asian, we rotate them a little bit like that, and we set the shape to be a tiny bit more slanted, but we can widen the corners a bit so they look more Japanese than Chinese. With the cheekbones, they don't as well. They typically don't have very high cheekbones, but what they have is they have wide cheeks, right? And so we can pull the angle a little bit to make it slightly more convincing. And we can give them some minor depth there. With the nose, you can set the definition, how bony or how much soft tissue it should have. We're gonna have no soft tissue, no bony features at all on this one. We can set the height to be a little higher. We can adjust the length of the nose to be a little short, like that. We can set the depth to be quite flat, and we can break it if we want, but only very slightly. And we can set the tip to be a little bulbous and the angle to be a little up pointed. With the jaw, let's do the same thing. Let's decrease the height of the jaw and increase the width of it. With the mouth, let's put it a little further up on the face, increase or decrease the width. I think we're going to decrease it a bit and set the depth to be a little flatter, like so, and set the angle. We can set it to be a tiny bit more downwards pointing, and we can give him a bit of a pout like that. With the upper lip, I tend to like to lessen the thickness when I'm trying to make an Asian face and set the angle to be a little less extreme on the upper lip, and then on the lower lip thicken it a bit and set the angle again to be a little less extreme. And this way it looks kind of like he's got a bit of a sour mouth. With the chin, obviously Asians don't really have strong chins. Typically, there are of course exceptions, but right now we're just going to go for the typical, and we're making something not that deep. I don't have the ability quite yet to show you different angles. I'm gonna introduce some shifting camera angles in the future so that you can like rotate around and everything. But for now, just stay this way. Um, as you can see, I messed up here with the UI, so that we have two overlapping sliders. So I gotta fix that. But right now, this will do just to show it off. And then we're back to the base, and obviously we can. This is a non-destructive workflow, so I can do whatever here. I can, remove his hair, making him a different skin colors. Obviously, there's no limit. We can have as many skin colors as we want. This is just what I use now for demonstration. And just to show you, he is also fully rigged and skinned, so he can animate. So I just have a little like just demonstration animation here just to show you. This is just on the reason you see little like cuts here and clips here is because this is just an animation I got from Mixamo, the animation studio, where you get free animations. So it's not perfectly tuned to this skeleton. That's why it's kind of clipping through. But in the future, we would obviously make our own animations if we get an animator. But yeah. All right. There is a few things I need to fix still. The waist. The problem with the waist is that, let me go back to the body. The problem with the waist is that, yes, we can slide this here and this here, but and muscles and body. And as you can see, that does affect the waist measurements. However, in order for us to set the waist measurements from here, it would require changing these values, both of them, and actually the belly as well. And obviously people have different shapes, so what would end up happening is that, like, let's say based on the value, the measurement, let's say you put in 90 there, based on that measurement I could put these so that they line up to be 90, both of them. But as you can see, I could go muscle heavy and belly none, and I could get 90, or I could go big belly and no muscle, no muscle, and I could, well, not big belly, but a little bit of a belly and no muscle, and I could get 90. So I need to figure out a way to sort of tune that in a way that is good for most people, for like the average body shapes, and then people, if they want to give themselves a belly or whatever, they can come in and they can do that. But for now, the sliders are the best way to do it, and we'll figure out something else. And just to show that you can make really, really extreme bodies of different types, I will reduce the belly, and you can see that you can make this guy quite skinny looking if you wanted to. And that happens in the face as well, as you could see. So as you can see, the definition also like pulls down the lips and everything. So what you see with a lot of gaunt people, like I looked at reference images from starving people, and I found that their face and their lips especially get like pulled in a lot. So that's why I made it like that. And so if we increase the body fat, if we increase the body fat with this skinniness, it would be a very weird look. And obviously that's not ideal for realism, but I think it's better to give people the choice to have really weird body shapes, and then just they don't have to do it, than to just not have that option. So yeah, that's my opinion on that. Anyway, that's all for now. All right, thanks. Bye.